Right, what is up? I'm back with another video on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, Saturday the 22nd of November. Oof. Jeez, that's going quick. That is going very quick for the year. So I am on my way to the gym, as usual. I'm just stopping at a giveaway sign so I don't smash into someone else's car. So I am doing squats today. It's just squats and a leg session. I might maybe do some sandbag loading, but I did sandbag runs earlier this week, so kind of got that sandbag loading practice in already, and I had a good couple of runs with 240 kilo sandbag pretty comfortably. Did I say 240? 140 kilo sandbag, like 308 odd pounds. Man, imagine a 240 kilo sandbag. Jeez, that'd be impressive. So yeah, nothing overly impressive today. I'm still struggling with some hip and upper outer quad issues, so I'm just working on those so I can start squatting more comfortably, so I can start pushing squats heavier weights, so I can start moving heavier weights again, which would be nice. Cuts going pretty well still. Focusing on the health and all that is going well. It was 130, still 133-ish. I'm not tracking calories or macros or anything. I'm just making sure I get enough protein in through kind of intuitive eating and just eating how I feel like it, while trying not to buy takeaways or eat anything overly fatty or anything like that. I'm going to start tracking after this competition is coming up in I think like 3-ish weeks now. I'll start actually tracking everything. Start tracking everything that comes in, and so that I know where I'm at, so I can really push this cut a little bit further, so I can try and lose another 10 or so kilos. So that's where I'm at. Looking forward to the squat session. I'm doing squats at the moment with a booty band basically, or a band around my knees. That forces me to really push my knees out, which seems to help the quad pain or hip flex pain. What I'm starting to think injury-wise is I think I tore my hip flexor on the right-hand side, and probably tore it below the hip, so where it attaches onto my quad, and that because I've still been pushing the weights, the hip flexor pain is still there and it just hasn't gone away. But it is repairing. It does feel better and better, which is positive, obviously. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that at the moment. So I do have a topic I want to talk about today in the 10 or so minutes I have before I get to the gym. So I want to talk about health and well-being. I want to talk about, so through my work, we use a multi Hodor health. Basically, it's a multi-health and well-being model. So it's called Te Whare Tapawhā, and I actually think it's a brilliant analogy for life. So it's split into 4 areas. So you imagine a house. So you imagine you are a house. You as a person are a house. So your physical being, so the person that people see in front of them, not anything to do with who you are or anything of that, just your actual body is the foundation. So that's the floor of the building, the floor of the house. And the roof is essentially your life. And then the walls are the important parts that hold up your life. So those 4 walls are your physical health, so taha tinana, your emotional or mental health, so taha hinanato, your spiritual health, so your taha wairua, and then your family health, so your taha whānau. So I liken it to, and I explain it to people as you're the foundation, and you need to have these walls, and you need to have these walls built strong to support your life or the roof. And if one of these sides starts to go down too far, starts to get really bad, or multiple of the sides, your roof will start to collapse. And if it gets to the point where your roof fully collapses onto your foundation or you, so your life collapses, your physical being, who people see, will struggle, will have issues, will have drug addiction or engage in domestic violence or have some kind of issue that isn't great in life. So the way I explain it to people is you can have one area that will be struggling and the other 3 areas will tend to hold up the rest of it. But if you have 2 areas that are struggling, the roof is going to start to collapse. You can't have, your foundation or roof and have 2 walls on the side and nothing on these sides, because a big breeze is going to come through and knock down the entire house. So if you have the 3 walls, at least you have something there. So with your physical health, so tinana, it's not the model of health that, our health system is pretty Eurocentric, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is, from my perspective, not great at times. I'm a pretty healthy person. I actually just had a health checkup, and for a guy who's 133 kilos, my blood pressure is perfect. All my blood markers are within range. I'm essentially, the picture of health, which you wouldn't assume considering how big I am, but I am the picture of health. The only thing that is out is my BMI. I sit in the 99th percentile. I am, I think, clinically obese. I don't know. It's one of those fancy terms. But I mean your actual health. How is your health? What is going on? What is your physical health looking like? And that is going to a doctor, getting your blood pressure checked, getting your bloods checked, and if anything is out, fixing it. Now, for people who are overweight, carry a lot of fat mass, your health markers can be good for a period of time, but then eventually they will start to degrade, unfortunately. You carry more fat mass, you're more likely to have more fat mass around your organs and around your heart, which can lead to heart disease and all that. And high blood pressure, which can lead to heart attacks. So don't. I'm not saying don't be overweight, I'm saying look after your health. If you want to carry a little bit extra fat mass, I carry a bit extra fat mass, then do it. Be happy with who you are, that's fine. But just make sure that you are getting your health checked at the doctors and you're actually listening to the doctor's advice. And if all your markers are perfect, and I mean like perfect, but you are, classed as clinically obese, and the doctor says, hey, you should lose weight, I would probably give you a little bit of permission maybe not to listen to the doctor. And I've had that happen to me before. I've had a doctor when my health was perfect, and the doctor goes, but your BMI is out, so you can lose weight. It's like, well, a BMI is out because I carry a large amount of muscle mass, so it's always going to be out. So, no. Then we talk about your mental health. So your hinanato. So mental health is incredibly important. I've talked about it in reels on my Instagram before. Your depression and anxiety are very real things, and myriad of other mental health disorders, problems, issues, whatever you want to call it, they're all real. And saying they're not real is not helping anybody. PTSD is horrible, and I've met many people with PTSD from their life and everything that's happened to them. So yeah, hinanato, your mental health is looking after who you are mentally, and that can include having to take medication if you do have depression and anxiety, and it is recommended by a psychologist, psychotherapist, therapist, doctor, whatever. Look after it, make sure it's good, and do things that are going to improve your mental health. Things that can improve your mental health. Wow. Go out, be active. Go for a walk, get out in the sun. Do things that you enjoy, take up new hobbies, and just look after yourself in general, and don't try and spread yourself too thin, especially when it comes to your work and other things in your life that maybe aren't as important. Then you've got wairua, so your spiritual self. So when I say spiritual, I don't mean, religious. It can mean religion, and for many people it does, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you are religious, there's power to you. If you want to believe that there is a higher power out there, again, power to you. Power to you if you believe that, and power to you if you don't. You have your convictions, and you should believe in them and work on them and everything. But it's your wairua is more your morals, your values, and who you are as a person. So, are you a courageous person? Are you a happy person? Are you a good person? And that's the way I liken it to people, is your wairua is, are you, from your perspective and from the perspective of those around you, a good person? Would people call you in a situation where they need help? And then you got your last hero, which is your family or whānau. And that's a hard one for a lot of people, because within European culture, it's family means direct blood relatives, normally mum, dad, brother, sister, partner, wife, husband, kids, those people that are directly related to you. But within Māori culture, whānau means people that you are really close with, so that it can include your friends. And I prefer that model of health, because some people's families are, direct blood relatives. They're not good people. They're shit people, and you shouldn't want to be around them. So you build your own family through friends that matter to you and look after you and care for you. There's an old saying: you are the sum of your 10 closest friends, your 10 people that you were closest with. So, if 10 people you were closest with are half of them your family, half of them your friends, and they're all shit people, then you're likely a shit person. Sorry, but that's the way it is. But you should try and fill your circle with people that want to see you succeed, but also will be there when you don't succeed. Because there are a lot of people out there who want to see you succeed because they want to be able to, take things from you, use you, whatever else. So you need those people that are going to be there for you when you don't succeed, and then the people that will be there for you when you do succeed. Those are the good people. That's kind of it's a model of health, and it's a really good model of health personally. Absolutely love it. I work with my people on it all the time. Build up those 4 walls, so that you, as a person, your foundation will never crumble. And if one area is lacking, find a way to fix it. So for me personally, my physical health, tinana, is really good. I go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week at the moment. I was going 6 days a week, but realised getting a little bit jammed up from too much for that. A little bit sore too often to continue working out like that. But I go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I go for a 30-minute walk every single day. I am playing football, like 6-a-side short form football. I think it's 20-minute halves, once a week at the moment. And I go for runs 1 to 2 times a week in the morning before I go to work. So physical health is pretty damn good personally. My whānau, family health, brilliant. I've got my mum, sister, and my brother. My dad passed away 2016. I'm just checking the tattoo. I've got it tattooed on me there. My dad passed away in 2016 from cancer. Not exactly great for the old family health, but it is what it is. We grow and we learn and we move on. But I've got my mum, my brother, and my sister. They're good people. I know I can rely on them when I need them, so it's always good. I know that I can call them when I need advice, support, or just have a chat, and that's nice. And I've got a really good group of friends. I'm actually going out to dinner tonight with my friends. We're going to an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. Don't know if that's necessarily a good idea for the old health, but you know, you got to do things that are fun sometimes. And the guys I'm going out with, they're a good group of guys. You know, all have their own stresses and all have their own things going on in life, and it's a good opportunity for us to sit, chat, talk shit, you know, talk about movies and the gym and life and all that, and then talk about anything that we may be struggling with, so that we can provide each other advice. Yeah, I've got a really good group of friends and family, which makes my whānau very, very strong. My wairua, so my sense of self, my sense of spirituality. I am not religious. I would describe myself as agnostic. There is maybe something bigger out there than what I am. There is maybe a deity or a god or something else, but I am not going to ascribe myself to any one religion because I'm a very evidence-based person. It comes with probably having a little bit of autism, to be honest with you. Nothing wrong with autism, by the way. Pretty sure I'm autistic. It's completely fine. There's just, yeah, not enough evidence for any one religion for me to choose one religion, but there's also not enough evidence for me to say, hey, it's impossible for there to be a deity or a god, because the universe is humongous. There are millions and billions of stars and planets and everything else, and to humans, what is a god could just be an alien from another civilization that's incredibly advanced. So, and who's to say that that isn't a god or a deity in our perspective? So yeah, agnostic. But my wairua is filled up by who I am, my morals, my values, and they're all really good. I believe in myself, sometimes probably a little bit too much. There's nothing wrong with that. I believe I'm a good person. I always go out on my way to try and help people, but I also need to remember to try and help myself. That's one of the things I really struggle with, is I will often go out of the way to help people that ends up being detrimental to myself. Probably, you know, something I picked up from my childhood or family or whatever. Oh yeah, I believe I'm a good person, and I know most people around me would describe me as a good person. There are probably people out there that hate me. That's fine, I don't mind. I'm currently sitting in the gym car park, by the way. And then, yeah, that final area is that Hinanato, that mental health. Yeah, it's probably the area that's the lowest for me at the moment, but when I say lowest, it's still, you know, I'm still in such a much better place than other people are, and, you know, especially the people that I work with, in my job, you know, people I'm trying to look after and care for. Many of them have, you know, mental health struggles that are just horrible to see, and my heart goes out to them, because it's just, you know, I'm not going through that kind of stuff, so I can't actually say to them, hey, look, I know what you're going through, because I'm not going through it, but I can try and provide them strategies on how they can improve and how they can make change. But yeah, like, my mental health was, you know, a little bit, I guess, pushed down, or the wall was a little bit chopped down, a little bit weakened, just through a relationship breakup, and having to move house suddenly, and, you know, some other general struggles. But I've got it pretty well under control now. Yeah, people around me have been saying, oh, you look really, really happy the last couple of weeks, and it's because I am. I'm focused, and I've got goals, and I have things I want to achieve, and you know, it's, I mean, I was tossing up whether I lose weight and do a bodybuilding show, you know, cut down right down to, you know, 6-7% body fat, and go on to probably like classic physique. Because even though I'm 133 kilos, I imagine once I get on stage, I'd probably only be about 100, which is still, you know, 100 kilos with, you know, full bodybuilding stage lean would still be pretty big. But I've decided not to do that. I'm going to cut down, get down to those low 120s body weight, and then we're going to reassess where we're at, rebulk, focus on the strongman, because I want to deadlift 400 kilos again. That's where I want to be at. That's what I want to achieve. So yeah, that's the talk I wanted to have for today. It's just your health and well-being. If you are struggling with your health and well-being, assess those areas of your life, that physical health, mental health, spiritual health, and your family health. Figure out which area is struggling and work on it. And try and maintain the other areas, but work on that one area that's struggling, that two areas that are struggling. If you are struggling in, 3 or more areas, seek help from other people, because at that point it is best for you to reach out to other people rather than try and do it yourself, because it's a hard slog trying to get back into the positive with all of them by yourself. I'm not saying it can't happen and people can do it, and you just got to set your mind to it. But what I mean when I say struggling as well is, in reality, if all of, let's say you have a score out of 10 for every area, and if every area is at a 4 out of 10, in reality your house is stable, and you can build all 4 areas up at the same time. But if you've got one area that's at a 9 and every other area is at a 2, yeah, that area that's at a 9 is eventually going to collapse, and then you're going to really struggle. And the closer your roof is to your foundation, the more you're going to struggle, the more things are going to pile on top of you, and just life is just not going to be as easy. And the reason I talk about this is because I want to see people succeed. I want to see people make change and improve their lives, and not just I don't want to see people struggle. It's horrible seeing people struggle. I want to see people have good lives and know what they want from life, and explore the world, explore New Zealand, explore everything, just be better human beings in general. Yeah, that's my talk for today, health and well-being. I'm gonna go in there, go into the gym, do my stretching warm-up, and then do some squats. I'll take some videos of my squats and me talking. It's probably not going to be an overly positive session because squats do hurt. Even just like 60 kilos on a bar doing warm-ups, so there is pain in my upper quad in the right leg, outer quad in the right leg, around my hip flexor, because it's probably a torn hip flexor. So it's not, I like the sessions because it gives me an opportunity to really work and figure out things, but also it's not positive because it does hurt. But I'll chat in between my sets and we'll see you in there, right? Right, as you can see, I am now in the gym. I did a pretty long warm-up, probably about 40 minutes. I did a bunch of stretching, mobility work, core activation, movements, then movement pattern work as well, so just moving through squats and feeling what is sore. And I did some banded wire stance RDLs, get the glutes firing up, and a little bit of quad as well, but mostly trying to get my hamstrings to work. And then I did some leg extensions with holds at the very top, get the quads really firing, activating, and then I did a bunch of goblet squats with the band on as well, just to make sure everything's firing. Yeah, a little bit of quad pain today. So it's probably a little bit more sore than it was last week, but we'll see how we go when we start warming up and getting through stuff. A little bit, yeah, it feels a bit funny. It's actually, the pain is kind of radiating down to the outside of my knee. It's so hard to know what this injury is because the pain is localized normally up here when I'm squatting, but then sometimes I'll randomly get pain that shoots down to the outside of my knee. So don't know what's going on. I should probably see a physio, or my massage therapist maybe, that I haven't seen in a couple of months. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll get into some squats. I think I'm going to work up to probably like a set of 5 at maybe like 140 to 160 today, somewhere around there, 140-ish probably. And I'm in this side of the gym today. Normally I would do squats on the other side in the power cage, just because it has safety racks just in case something goes wrong. But It's so hot today. I walked in here, turned the aircon on, and I said the room was 32 degrees. So the aircon is now quietened the room down, cooled the room down, and according to it is now 25 degrees, which is still incredibly hot. That's degrees Celsius for any Americans that are watching. I'm not converting that to Fahrenheit because Fahrenheit is stupid. So it's about 24 degrees Celsius in the moment in here. It's actually still really warm and I'm sweating just moving around. But yeah, we'll get into it, eh? Alright, I'm just experimenting with some different feet positions while I'm doing a squat. So feet facing reasonably straight forwards versus toes out, just to see where the pain kind of is the worst. When I am toes or feet straight forwards, it's more painful on the way down, but it's a very consistent pain all the way down and all the way up. Whereas when I have my toes pointing out, there's almost no pain until I drive out of the hole, and then there is like a 3 or 4 out of 10, just solely on that section of quad. So yeah, I know toes out is better for me technique wise, better position for me, allows me to engage my glutes a lot more. So yeah, I'll keep doing the toes out and work from there, and we'll increase the weight a little bit. Alright, so I'm up to 100 kilos now. I'm going to try and make this look relatively similar to that 60 kilo set, hopefully. Yeah, the toes out, the just pain on the way up is better than having pain the entire time. So we'll get a set of 5 done, and then probably just going to go up to 140 and do 1 set, and I want to go and do some leg accessories, and I want to try and do some hip thrusts on the hip thrust machine here as well. So let's get it done. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Yeah, it's less painful this week than it was last week, which is good, which is weird considering how painful it felt when I was warming up. It was probably like a 3 out of 10 pain. I'm actually getting more lower back pain than anything else, which was probably because I absolutely went basically a max deadlift on Thursday. So yeah, happy with that. I'm just going to strap 140, do a set of 5 and then move on. Alright, we're at 140 kilos. This is going to be my heavy set of squats. I say heavy, 140 is less than half of my max squat, which is very sad. Yeah, the goal here is just to do 5 consistent reps with consistent technique, with like minimum threshold of pain of like a 5, which for me is, my brain will go, oh, that doesn't feel nice. So let's get it done. happy with that. There's only really that. Those last 2 reps that were kind of getting up to like a 3.5 out of 4, 3.5 out of 10 pain. Nothing too crazy. I did drift right onto my toes on that 4th rep, but that's fine. Yeah, happy with that. I'll move on to the next few exercises. So this is my first time using this machine since moving to Zen Fitness. So yeah, bear with me while I try and figure this out. Seems like it's pretty standard for how a hip thrust works. Got the 30 band on still. I'm going to have the biggest glutes in the world after this next couple of training blocks, which I'm not complaining about. Yeah, not bad. I don't mind it. It's pretty decent machine. Only complaint is the range of motion isn't huge, but it works. Probably at first it's probably a little bit light, but it's got band attachments too, which is cool. I'm not going to do banded today. I'm just going to do standard plates. Yeah, we'll get some actual weight on there and get into it. Increase the weight, it's 60 kilos on there now. I gotta be careful with some of the plate loader machines in this gym, just because they have numbered max tolerances for the bars, so it's under 100 kilos. It can probably handle a lot more than that, but I don't want to be the guy that breaks the machine. So we'll go 60 kilos, see how it goes. My goal today is to work up to a set of 8, like comfortable. Yeah, 8 reps at, I don't know, like an upper 7 or 8. It's probably not going to end up being upper 7, it's probably a lot easier than that. And then do a second set of that as well. Not bad. Yeah, we go up. The 60 kilos was pretty easy. Well, actually very easy. The issue is, and I'm not complaining about the machine because I know this machine wasn't made for someone my size. 60 kilos felt really light, and I wanted to just actually really put some power into it, and it would have started leaving my hips. The edges of this metal here is actually digging into my hips, so I have to keep it slightly in control the entire time, which isn't a bad thing. Alright, I'll probably just do another set of 8 at that. Doesn't feel overly heavy, but the metal digging into my hips isn't very nice. So I'll just do one more set of 8 and finish and move on next thing. I'm just on to some lying hamstring curls now. There's 50 kilos. The pin's in at 50 kilos at the moment. I'm going to work up to like a heavy set of 5 today, and then try and do that heavy set of 5 for another set of 5. See how we go. And this is just going to be almost 50 kilos, should be very, very easy. It's starting to get a little bit of radiating pain out of my quads, so I'll probably just do this and then finish up, or might do some calf raises. But if it gets any worse, then I'll just have to finish up. Yeah, pretty easy. Although I did manage to catch my foot on the mirror there. That's right. I have bumped the weight up to 70 kilos now, so I'm just going to do a set of 5 of this. See how it feels. If it's too easy, we'll go up to 80, 85, 90, somewhere in that range. And if it's perfect, then we can go through this. Yeah. I'll probably just do another set of 5 of that. Alright, this is going to be my second set of 5 at 70. If it does end up being too easy, I'll probably do a third set. So we'll see how we go. This is quite painful at the moment, just kind of walking around. Doesn't feel very nice. So yeah, finish the set and I'll see how it feels, and maybe I'll do another one. We'll go do some calf raises, we'll figure it out after the set. Yeah, that'll be a last set. It probably doesn't look very hard in the video, but I am taking a breath and bracing on every single set, every single rep, like I would a max squat. So it probably looks very fast, but it's only because I'm actually bracing properly. Well, that was a pretty good workout. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to do a short sign off today. I don't really have anything else to talk about. But yeah, really happy with that workout. Yeah, there was a little bit of quad pain at the very end there, which probably a combination of the squats and then going at hip thrust, which still was getting some quad work. But yeah, very, very happy with it. Got through a good, 4 exercises, really pushed myself in every exercise. When I say push myself, the squat was incredibly easy and light, but it's the most I can do now with the pain tolerances I have. I don't want to go over a 4 or 5 out of pain, because then I'm going to potentially injure myself and set myself back even further. But I'm looking forward to continuing this journey of getting my squat back to what it was, because I would like to squat over 300 kilos again. I dream of squatting 800 pounds or 363 kilos. We'll see if we can get to that. Yeah, I did some calf raises at the end, but I couldn't do any voice recording because I had to turn the fans on in that section of the gym. It was just so hot. It is warm today here in Palmerston North. I don't know how warm, but I would say, probably mid-20s, 23, 24 degrees Celsius at least. And in the gym, it was incredibly hot because the aircon just isn't strong enough for how big that gym is. Other than that little area I was working out in the start, which is the, Strongman CrossFit area, whatever you want to call it. That area has its own dedicated air conditioning system, and the area is small enough that those air conditioners can actually make so it's cold in there. Happy with that workout. I need to have a quick shower, and I am meeting my friends at 6:30 for all you can eat Chinese. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to catching up with them and seeing how they're doing. Even though I only saw them a week ago, it's important to see friends and catch up and basically just talk shit, to be honest with you. But yeah, having an early dinner would be nice. I wouldn't mind coming home and maybe playing some video games or something before I go to bed. I've just downloaded a few new games on my gaming PC that I want to play, that have been recommended to me by one of my work colleagues actually. So I want to get into that, but we'll see how late we are for dinner. It's 5:47 now, so I have 43 minutes. I was almost about to say 45, but 43 minutes to get my shit together and get off to dinner. So I will see you guys next time. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and if you didn't like the video, please like and subscribe. I would like any haters that I get, I would like them to watch my videos, because I don't think I'm ever going to make a career out of this, because I am probably just not interesting enough to make a career out of this. And I'm definitely not like some international amazing strongman who's smashing world records or anything, which is the main reason people get famous. But if I ever do get famous, I want my haters to see where I started and where I get to. So yeah, like and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Until then, peace out.